Let's see. Let's see what we got here. And yes, I believe we are back. It claims we are. Yeah, we are back. We are back. Okay. Hopefully that will not happen again.
We just gotta stop talking about Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look, you know what it is? You know he's a very sensitive man.
Somebody said, anybody think it was Ernie's stepdaddy pulling the Ethernet cord?
he's like, I'll fix you. He's like, I'm gonna fix you. No, that was 100% me. That was 100% me. To give you, screw it. I'll tell you guys how the sausage is made. So I have two different settings on my OBS. One that I use to record, one that I use for streaming, and it just so happened that the one for recording was the one that was active, and it is at a higher quality and bit rate and everything than what the stream is. And basically my internet was like, you doing too much. They're like, this is for recording, sir. This is not for broadcast. You wilding out here. Okay. Calm down, sir. Calm down. But no, we are back. I apologize to anyone that got kicked out of the stream. That was not by design. But no, what we were talking about is, so yeah, I don't know when or where everything got cut off, but the Kickstarter is doing fantastic right now. Like I said, nearly funded. Over $5,700 of its $6,504 goal. I wanted to ask y'all some questions because for one, talking about this and being a person who is trying to do something similar. I wanted to throw some questions y'all's way. And people in the chat too, if y'all have questions, please ask. This is one of the rare times that we will do questions this early in the show. But what is, like, because I think some of the the times we had you in the past, we've talked about this a little bit, but like what is it like managing something of this level, of this magnitude? what goes into it?
It's stressful, man. For me, it's so there's good parts of it and there's bad parts. Just like we talked a lot about your YouTube hustle, man. Like there's stuff that people don't see that you have to do. Like there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. Not just the making the content, like the comic books. We enjoy writing and creating and working with artists and all that stuff. Stuff we love doing, so it doesn't necessarily feel like the work. The making 10 different videos on platforms and trying to find your target audience and meetings. We literally have like a weekly meeting, like from 6 to 8, that we just talk about ideas of how we can reach the right people. The audience for this book is a little different from the audiences for the rest of our books that we've been building up for the past 6-8 years. So how do we get to the people that would like to read this really niche these really niche type of stories?
Right.
There's not a lot of black cowboy stories out there. There's not a lot of black thrillers in comic books. So how do we find the people that would like to read this stuff? So that's why we came to the Blerd Cave, man. It's like, hey, we know the people here support comics. We know the people here like different kind of things. We just try to stay connected to the communities that have been supporting us. But it's always it's always stressful because you never know what people are going to respond to. We literally just decided to just put everything out there, all the ideas that we had, and then if people like them, they like them. If they don't, they'll like the next one.
Well, I like that.
I think that the hardest part about, like Danny said, I think the hardest part about Kickstarters, especially if you've never done one, is you can't understand the amount of. It looks a lot easier than it is, mostly because the hardest part of anything, especially building any business, is the marketing. So with thankfully we've done enough Kickstarters now that we kind of, like, when me and Danny started formulating how we were going to do it and when, the first thing I said is, look, we're going to get together, and I don't care if it takes all day, we're going to shoot ads all day. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be the pressure that I've hit in the past that I hate, because I'm a creative, so I can think of things to be creative, but trying to come up with some new way to get people's attention to your page daily is the worst. It's the worst. It's depressing. It is and then you got to go through social media's algorithm. And that is by far the worst, because you can post it, and we've had people countless times, even during this campaign, as much as we canvassed ahead of time, there are people that did not even know we had launched anything. And they're gonna back you, like they're your biggest backers, but they didn't even see it. You know what I mean? And it blows our mind every time. But like, you literally got to DM people. You gotta, it's like the political conversation of having to go and knock on doors and kiss babies and stuff. Like, be like Kickstarter campaigns. The biggest grind of it is that the fulfillment is not the greatest either. But I mean, I worked in shipping for a long time before I started my career in instrumentation. So I mean, the logistical part of it, I don't mind. It's the part of the logistical part sucks. But once I have everything in house and everything's ordered right, and I just got to worry about shipping it, we in there now. You know what I mean? But to me, by far the hardest part of Kickstarters is the marketing, reaching the audience, finding the right audience, and getting it in front of them. And then even once you get it in front of them, because me and Danny laugh about this all the time, we can come up with the ad literally off the top of our head that we put out and people love it, and then they won't pledge.
You know what I'm saying? But they'll go, man, that was a great video. I love that video that you did about your Kickstarter. All right, I'll see you later.
I'm telling you, man, I'm talking about dead laughing. They will DM us, be like, yo, that joint was so funny, bro, when you did this, and haha, I watched that joint mad times, I saved it. But like, hey man, we appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you sharing it or whatever. And then you go over there, and like, we just had a video that the reel got like 1,000 some views, and like, it was less than 2 hours. We had like 1,000 some views and no pledges.
This is like on the worst platform for traffic. Like, we got 1,000 views in 2 hours on Facebook, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is great. People love this video. Not a single solitary
pledge. And me and Danny sitting here at the house like,
it's like, bruh.
It's just so many things that you can't control, but that's one of the things that's cool about like that we've been doing this so long, is that we know we got an email list. We know we got, like, I got a pretty good following on TikTok. We got, communities like this and others that we can reach out to that can help. So you kind of have to just do it all, and hope it connects with the right people at the right time. Because that's really all you can do is put it out there and let God or let the algorithm do the rest.
And I think that's the one thing that you all spoke on that I think a lot of people need to know, is just that this is not an instance of, okay, you get a writer, you get an artist, you just put that shit out. There is so much behind the scenes stuff that has to get done.
Logistics.
You really, like, dude, this is not one of those instances where you got to walk before you can crawl. Absolutely not.
You
have to, and everybody needs to understand this.
Yeah.
Because no matter what it is that you're doing, don't just think because it's comic books you can't not do the fucking work.
Oh no, you got to.
You got to. There's like that, because boom, I just looked at it right now. You all just got another pledge. You have to do the work to see that kind of shit. I've been putting it in the chat for everybody as well. But yeah, you
Here, I'm gonna pin it.
Put that fucking work in so that you can have a brother that's just that can wear absolutely black hoodies, so that you can have somebody bragging about their fucking dub zeros. You have to put the work in.
Yeah, and it is absolutely black hooded with lumberjacks on it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't mad at it. I respect that. I respect it.
Absolutely.
I respect it. Well, and
like it, you know.
I just kind of want to put this out here, because everything that Morgan and Danny are talking about here, these are all things I know I'm going to have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I know these are things that because it's one of the reasons why I have been so kind of laid back about doing what I'm working on, because I'm just like, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush for the headache.
Yeah, and that is the right way to be. I promise.
Look,
you got to open your eyes. You got to realize, Ernie does not have a machine behind him. These brothers do not have they themselves. We as black men, we are the fucking machines.
Yeah,
that's it.
There's no Marvel, there's no DC, there's no Image Comics, there's no Boom Studios, there's no Dark Horse, there ain't even a Valiant or IDW behind any of this. So there's no one fronting the money to do this. There's no one putting the people like okay, I want to talk about this one real quick, and then I'm gonna jump to some of the other questions. I saw some really good questions in here. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass it has been for me to decide what artist I even want to draw the comic that I'm working on? Like, that has actually been a stressful I never thought that it would be I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, I see somebody I like, I just go talk to them and be done with it. But no, you got to vibe check people. You got to make sure you're on the same page with people. You got to make sure they can actually do what it is that they say they're going to do. And even if you have chemistry or how collaborative do you want the process to be? Do you have a very hard line vision in mind for what you want? Or are you willing to concede some ground and maybe let somebody have a little more artistic interpretation with something that you really are invested in? There's a lot. And I haven't even gotten to the colors, finishes, things like that. Then you got to get into the task of, well, wait a minute, can the person that's going to be doing the art, can they also do the color, or do they not do their own colors? And if they do, how much is it going to cost to pay them to do both? And then if not X, then Y, who do I get to do the colors, and then make sure that their style is complementary to the artist?
And the one key thing there that I think a lot of people are listening to you, but they don't get. Yeah. Everything you said are people that you want to do it. Yeah. There's no guarantee those motherfuckers are going to look at you and be like, yeah, bet. You see what I'm saying? You got to worry about. Or exactly. Or if they even have the time to do it, if they even have the ability to do it. So there is so much that y'all not thinking about when y'all are reading these.
Because I'll be brutally honest. There are, and I'm not going to call names because I don't want to make it hot. There are 2 or 3 artists specifically that I want to draw my comic, but there are also equally as many reasons as to why they probably can't.
It's that, man. So it's crazy. So we got this artist right here. This is an artist that I love here in North Carolina. He did these 4 pictures, right? Richard Cox, right? He's an amazing artist. I love his work, and every chance that I get. Oh, by the way, this is Sanford Green right here. Sanford Green did dude,
that's the homie right there.
And Sanford Green is another one, right? You have these artists that you want to work with, and you say, man, like if I get a chance, if I can figure out the budget, I would absolutely work with you. But then you realize Mr. Cox does everything traditional, literally everything:
Yeah.
pencils, inks, Copics, markers, everything traditional. If he were to do an Ace Blade book, it would take an entire year just for him to do the art for 20 pages.
Yeah.
He does everything by hand.
That's
If Sanford
time.
Green, you know, did Ace Blade book, first of all, it'd probably be like $700 a page.
Yep.
Second of all, Sanford has 8 other projects
Mm-hmm.
are higher priority than Ace Blade is going to be.
Yep.
No matter what's going on, Bitterroot is going to take precedence over Ace Blade.
Look,
All that
that's
stuff you gotta
that's
take into
on
account.
Hunted.
Yeah, yeah. All of that stuff you got to take into account,
Yeah.
and it's like, do I want to get the work out now, or do I want to, you know, save up for a year and then get on X's schedule and
Mm-hmm.
you know, do it that way? So it's a lot of stuff that you got to take into account for sure.
And I'll say this quick. The other bad part is, especially when it comes to the artist, is their timeline. Like, so I'm not gonna put much out there, but there's been more than once. There's been more than once that something was supposed to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and when that actually got done, I'm just gonna leave it there.
So
Trust and believe, that is the thing. Okay,
There's one thing I want you all to hear from Blerd, and then I want to get to a question that someone wanted to ask you all in the chat, because I'm actually interested in this myself. But Ernie, you want to go ahead and tell them about the boys incident on Twitter?
Oh yeah. So I think we talked about this with the audience, but I didn't talk with either Danny or Morgan about this, so we will share it. So, you know, talking about finding artists, which, and I want to preface everything I'm about to say with kind of similar situations, Danny. Since I've been doing YouTube, I actually have reached out to and had others reach out to me, like from Marvel and DC, people who work as writers and artists. If I wanted to, I could probably convince one or more of them to do a comic that I'm working on. But I'm just Blerd without fear. If I were able to get a top tier Marvel or DC talent to do my book for me, to draw my book for me, I will not be the priority. Whatever X-Men comic, whatever Batman comic, whatever Green Lantern, Flash, Spider-Man, whatever comic that they have to work on, you best believe that's going to get done first, and my shit will get bumped down every freaking time. And that's just compared to the main priority, not the 10 or 15 other obligations they may or may not have. Convention appearances, variant cover, guest spots, so on and so forth. But no, the situation in question that Carter's talking about is when I was talking to someone who was interested in doing art for the comic I'm working on.
Carter's response has me so ready.
Well, it's so hilarious because it was something that happened in like year. And by the way, Carter, it's funny you bring it up today too, because there's an interesting postscript to that story. That person did reach out to me and apologize just the other day.
I don't care. Air them out. That don't matter no more.
Oh no, yeah. No. That's 100%. This person, and I am gonna put their name out there because I don't want anyone else to get caught up.
Spoiler alert in the house.
This person's name is Odessa Windward on Twitter.
They both shook their head. Yeah, well, I'm writing it down.
They reached out to me and said, hey, I can do it. I can do the work. Now, they sent me images. They were pretty much anime, manga images, which I was like, that's cool. That's cute. But that's not what I'm going for. I was like, can you do a more American style, like art style. Because I said, your art, like just the stuff you're showing me that you're doing, you're for whatever. I was like, none of this fits the vibe and style of story that I'm trying to tell. I was like, I'm trying to tell a moody, dark kind of, Lovecraftian style setting, but by way of a more, and I hate using this word because it's typically a word white people use to describe anything black, but by way of a more urban vibe.
I felt it coming. I felt urban coming.
Yeah, it's like I hate that word. I hate that word. Yeah, it's a dumb word. It's a really dumb word, but like it's like the only thing that was in my head. I was like, I guess I was trying to find a word other than just this black is Lovecraftian, but black as fuck.
Right. It is a absolutely niggified Lovecraft country. That's what we do.
There you go. Boom. There you go. Like
you can't do a step off.
There you go. And that's it. And here's the thing. They were sending me all these Dragon Ball Zs, these Vegetas, these Narutos, these Full Metal Alchemists. I was like, this is cute, but I was like, this isn't what I want. And I was like, they're like, oh, well, I can do any style. This is just what I do. And I was like, okay, cool. So what I did was I sent them some images of comics that I felt were similar to the vibe or style that I was looking for. So I sent them some panels from comics like Noctera. I sent them some panels from the current run of Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy, Corey Smith. I sent them some images from a bunch of different things. And they're like, cool, I think I have an idea of what it is you're looking for. And here is some of my work that is kind of in that same vein. Or there's here, I'm going to put some stuff together so you can kind of see what I've done. So they sent me 2 pages. And when I looked at them, I had to do a double take. Because the images they sent me, I recognized. They were pages from the first issue of The Boys.
Nah, bro. Hey, it's plenty of them out there, bro.
Well, we done messed Morgan up so much. He's like, nah, cut the camera off. Cut the camera off. He's like, no. He's like, nah, I got to get out of here. But no, they said, and the thing is, they didn't pick. They picked 2 specific panels.
They sent you, Ernie, the Blerd Without Fear.
Yes.
They sent you. Wait a minute. Did they not know who you were? Like,
I guess not, because I was like, bruh. I was like, you sent 2. Now, and to be fair, they didn't pick any of like the iconic pages from that first issue, but they picked some like panels that stuck out to me because it was the part of the comic where Billy Butcher is talking to that woman from I forget, like the CIA woman. The woman he was piping out. He sent me panels from that scene, and that scene sticks out to me because when I was originally reading that comic and the interaction that happened before and after that conversation really stuck out to me. Right. So when I saw it, I was like, isn't that the woman that I was like, wait a minute. So I went to my digital library, pulled up the pages, screenshot them, and sent them back to the person. I was like, and I want y'all to understand something. My words were this exactly. I was like, wait, Carter, what was it? I was like, I'm pretty certain this is not your work. Now, when I said that, I saw the little, you see like when people are typing, you can always see like in Discord, it just shows you like, yeah, you can see like, you can see like, oh, so-and-so is typing.
Morgan's so disappointed.
This person was typing for 15 minutes trying to figure out what to say to me. Because I was watching.
Ain't nothing they can say.
And well, no, and here's the thing. That was the only thing. They sent me 2 other images, and I said, well, I'm not familiar with these 2 comics. I said, I'm pretty sure that this image is from a DC comic because I said I recognize something from it. And I said, and this one I'm not sure about either, but I'm pretty sure this is not yours either.
Mm-hmm.
It took them 15 minutes to come up with the story that wasn't them trying to sell them, you know, their somebody else's work off as their work, but they were trying to get a better idea of what I wanted. And I said, I don't think that's true.
Escape. Control Alt Delete.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Oh no. And what I did, I screenshot the entire conversation just for my own personal protection. Yeah. And then I say, you know what? Everything that you said prior, you said you were literally about to send me some stuff that was your work. And then you sent me other people's work. So we're just going to leave it at that. I said, I wish you all the best in your future, whatever endeavors. And then I immediately blocked them and moved on with my day.
Somebody in chat said Morgan is looking like, man, I'm finna go look at Janelle Monáe again.
Yeah, it's like, look, it would be a better usage of your time, honestly, than that.
There's definitely some scammers out there, man. There are multiple accounts on Instagram because we've both been looking for Black women to do do more work for us, right?
Yeah.
There are multiple accounts on Instagram that are perpetrating to be Black women,
but aren't.
And their Fiverr pages go back to, you know, somebody else's account or whatever. Like they'll send you samples, and then their Fiverr page belongs to some complete other person in some complete other country. So yeah, definitely look out for that kind of stuff, man. It's terrible.
Just to get the look off of Morgan's face real quick. Can I ask you brothers a question about your comic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's like, please. This
is from LJ Brown. He said, is there any particular inspiration you take from specific genres in your comics?
I'm gonna let Danny go. I'm still trying.
I'm only gonna disappoint you. I'm only gonna disappoint. This might not disappoint y'all by now, but me and my wife, we love. You heard of the show Matlock, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So Matlock, there's a TV station called Pluto TV.
Okay,
it's free. Mm-hmm. You just download it on the internet and you can watch whatever. So there's a Westerns channel on Pluto TV. It's right above the Matlock. The Matlock plays all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we watch Matlock in our free time if we're just laying around the house. Watch Matlock and we watch the Western channel. And on the Western channel, shows like The Rifleman, Bonanza, Big Valley, you know, shows like that. And that's one thing that me and my wife just enjoy doing together, right? And you know, because of that, you know, we like these kind of stories where the rugged stranger comes from a faraway land to a new town, and there's, you know, a lot of mystery in it. There's a lot of conflict with the new local people. And you know, so those kind of stories always stuck with me. So absolutely, The Rifleman and Big Valley are inspirations for my book. Morgan's gonna have a completely different answer, though, because he loves.
He's still thinking about that stuff I said earlier.
I am. I can't. I'm trying to like really purge that, but
it's like, nah.
The level of stupid involved there is so impressive.
Yes.
I don't know whether they should be awarded or have hands put on them. I'm not sure.
Only hands.
I'm trying to focus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus. Okay. Inspiration. All right. So my initial inspiration for Harlem literally was, you know how you watch shows like Power, Snowfall, the movie American Gangster, any mafia movie, you know, where people murk somebody, they kill the person, and they're like talking trash before they killed him, and they talk trash after they killed him, and it's not even like it's not even a gangster really. You know what I'm saying, that they're killing. It's just somebody that they're like supposed to be able to assert their authority over.
Mhm.
And it drives me nuts. I hate those scenes where, you talking trash, because this happens in the street too. Somebody, hurting somebody just because they can, because of their reputation or whatever. So my initial inspiration from Harlem came from like one of those scenarios where you drop somebody, like you kill them and you're talking trash as you walk off. And I said, man, how awesome would it be if like literally a force, God, whatever you believe in, could bring that person back from the dead and they just snatch your spine out right there on the spot. Like just murder you like you just murdered them. And ain't no coming back for you because you're not special. You know what I mean? That was my initial thought for Harlem. And I first thought about it. I think I thought about it from a man's perspective. I said, but what would be a more interesting story? And I thought it would be more interesting if it was a sister. And the story kind of built out from there. And I went with the high school route because I wanted to be able to tell my daughter's getting ready to graduate high school this year, which is really weird to me. She's about to go to A&T. So I think some of my inspiration for the age group I'm dealing with came from there. But also because in this day and age, and I was talking about this on the show last week, social media has such a huge effect on kids that I don't know that we can grasp yet. You know what I mean? We came up in that time period where social media was being invented, but our kids are going through something completely different. And I wanted to be able to tell the story from that perspective of a young black, because Harlem is a savant, like she's a physics savant, in ways that will be displayed over the course of the comics, and it also comes into the mystery of who came after her and why. And that all that stuff just built over time and tying it into the universe. I had to make a decision on whether I want to tie it into the fourth wall universe or make it a new thing like Danny did with Black Rose. But I decided to tie it into the universe with Jats. And I'm loving the direction that it's going just because it continues to build this corner of the universe with Lumberjacks, which has it's a grittier space in New Orleans, and also the spiritual components to things Harlem helps bring in royally. So I'm excited to be able to continue that story through her.
Now, is that something with you bringing it into the Lumberjacks universe? Is that something that you're just going to do it to where it's in the universe, but they're not really going to connect? Or are you trying to do like a bigger tapestry of just, okay, they're going to get to this point and then X is going to meet Y kind of deal?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely. So we also do our a podcast called the Super Shorts Podcast, where we do superhero short stories. And Harlem was introduced in there first. But anything that we do in that audio podcast is also canon for our universe. So Harlem has been introduced in that in the audio podcast, but this comic is going to be taking place before some of those events. So it's all intertwined, and Jackson and Harlem are directly related. Like Harlem is Jackson's stepniece. So and you'll see how that story ties together because their stories are directly connected for the same and different reasons. I really want to spoil who Harlem is, like what my idea for her is down the line, but I don't want to bury the lead, so I'm on.
Bro, this dude, it used to be me, and he told me to stop doing it. Now he want to
say
spoil
it.
everything.
I didn't say it.
I see the desire in your face to just be like, look, if you look in the Bible in Revelations 10 and 12, you'll see who Harlem is.
let me ask this one too. We got one here from LP3 says, can y'all talk about some of the research involved with learning about the culture of the Wild West? Dan, I guess that would be
just like Ern was saying earlier or in the first stream, we wanted to there's a whole vivid history of black cowboys and cowgirls in the West, and a lot of different cultures. Not in the Battle of the Black Rose, one of the kind of montage scenes is the story is that this family is trying to keep their home, right? So we know the whole thing about gentrification and everything like that. But in the Wild Wild West, especially when they were building railroads and stuff, eminent domain, people were cleared out of lands and stuff like that. So this family, had a slightly dark past, but the two main characters met each other, fell in love, and wanted to start a new life. So while trying to protect the land that they own, they meet with different cultures. They meet with Americans, and they work with Native Americans to learn how to do certain things on the land. They work with Chinese workers who are working on the railroads. All different things like that that actually happen in history that people don't highlight as much. So, and and the thing that we do with our stories is those things aren't like kind of beat you over the head with them, but they add to the story in a way that that kind of builds the world. So instead of putting the message out front saying y'all missed this in the history books, we just add it in there piece by piece, and then the people who know that history or are interested in it, they'll get that, and it'll be extra for them. We always want to tell a good story first, and then like the deeper level stuff that we learn through history or through our research, just kind of expands that. It kind of builds the world and gives it more definition.
So just to kind of go back to the overall, just overarching story of everything, I think I'm not going to name certain comics. I'm not going to name drop anything like that, but there's always those comics where you can clearly tell they get to a point where the writers didn't expect it to go as far as it did. So now what the fuck do I do? So is there a point? Do you all have like a beginning, a middle, and an end? Do you all have where, okay, this is where it can go and that's it? Or because an issue with stories like I just brought up was just that you start doing a little bit too much and you're making all of this, just you're making this world, but now you made the world too fucking big. You don't know what you're gonna do. So is there a limit for you all?
It's crazy because we're learning a lot from manga now. I think we got a balance of both, right? Like we got our continuing series, Ace Blade and Lumberjacks, probably gonna have 100, 200 issues if we are successful and continue making them.
Yeah.
But I know for the Ballad of the Black Rose, it's a limited series. Just like manga, there's a set amount of story that I'm trying to tell, and once it's told, that's it, right? You might get 20 individual issues, you might get 5 trades, something like that. But that's the story that I'm trying to tell. I think it's kind of cool to have both types of stories. And that's kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to disconnect this story from the main Fourth Wall universe with Ace Blade and King Supreme and Lumberjacks and all that. Is because we're trying to do something different with it. But most of our superhero stories, are those continuing stories that we got, years and years of content planned out for.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We got let's see. We got 3 more questions.
All right.
And then we're gonna switch. Well, I ain't gonna kick you out. I'm gonna do you like my Uncle Perry. I'm putting your name out there. I'm sorry, Uncle Perry. Something I learned from him when I was a little kid. He said, "You ain't got to go home." But he said, "You got to leave here."
Gotta get out of here.
That's what he used to always tell me. Like whenever me and my mom used to go visit my cousins, like or whatever, that's what they always used to say. That's why you ain't got to go home, but you gotta leave here. But no, we got a $10 super chat here from Ed Boy in the Cut. Says, question for you guys: I work full time as a software developer, but I am also teaching myself to draw and write comics, mostly draw. Any advice for someone who has a full time job trying to make comics?
Right. Prayer. Doctor. Rain dancing, if you can find anybody that can teach that. I mean, me and Danny are both full-time work workers. Danny's, graphic designer, and he also has a tribe with my sister. So trying to balance being a great father that he is, and also work a full-time job and all of that. And then me, Danny wanted to come up with this specific section on the Kickstarter page where we talked about our family lives, where he was like the wholesome family man and I'm the hoe in these streets. To kind of show like the dynamic of how our lives are different, but I do think that also informs our stories. The biggest advice that I would give somebody that's trying to balance both is, for me personally, one of the things that I have to do is make sure that the time that I allot to writing the stories or conceptualizing things, that I like really like when me and Danny get up and we're supposed to be working on something, I'm trying to block this whole day out so we can get done as much as possible. Because I know for me, because what happens is my best ideas come while I'm on the job. Like I'll be working doing something that has nothing to do with comics, and then that's when I'll get a great idea. Like, oh, that's fire! That I'll put it in my notes, but I can't work on it now. And then when I get home, it depends on if I have my son or not. Though I think I talked about it in the past on the show before. My son has special needs, so there's more that goes into my day. If I have him, I'm probably not even going to be in the frame of mind to formulate that. If I don't, then it's all the rest of the extra stuff. So like that, the time that you put aside to work on it, get as much done as you possibly can, and that way you're not pressing yourself in between or feeling like I should be doing this or I should be doing that, because your family comes first. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest advice. Definitely for me is when you get the time to work on it, do all you can.
Yeah,
100% agree. Yeah.
Let's see here. We've got another one here from. Oh, dude. Let's see. This is one here from Bill. Says for the creative team, says which Marvel or DC comic from a POC writer are you currently reading?
Marvel or DC? A bunch of them. POC writers. I think a bunch of them. Let me see. We got Blerd Syndicate right here. It's POC. I guess that's Milestone, but it's DC.
Yeah, Milestone's technically DC.
Yeah, reading all the Milestone books. So
I saw you pull up that issue of Flawed. Don't hide it. Don't hide it.
Yeah, yeah. Flawed is, that's
Flawed is legit.
But,
yeah, Flawed is legit. Yeah,
it's actually really good. Yeah, I was surprised by how good. Chuck is a good writer, but yeah. Yeah.
Those are Chuck Brown's 1/3 of the major driving force behind Bitterroot.
Bitterroot, yeah. John Jennings is black, right? He's doing Silver Surfer.
I think so. I think so. I think so. Yeah.
I believe he is. So that's the one that I'm reading. I read a lot of stuff by black writers, but I'll tell you that one black artist that if you're not reading that new Superman.
Oh yeah, Jamal Campbell, bruh.
Jamal Campbell, bruh. That is. Listen, I'm a notorious Superman hater.
Same.
But even his art. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. Jamal Campbell's drawing it. I'll buy it.
Oh yeah.
I read the first issue and I was like, okay, I'll hang out with Clark for a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
I hate Superman. By and large, I'm not a fan. But I'm a big fan of Joshua Williamson as a writer, and I'm an even bigger fan of Jamal Campbell as an artist. So I was like, I'll give it 5 issues. I say I give it 5. And now I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm gonna be on this. I'm gonna be on this Superman for a while because Jamal Campbell out here.
Also, Stephanie Williams is a PLC writer.
Yes,
she did. I think she's on Marvel Voices now, but she did the Nubia series.
Nubia and the Amazons. Yep.
Yeah. And she actually lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. So she's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got to see her at a show in Charlotte. Not her and Brian Stelfreeze. And we're both there. So it's a lot of mainstream books, but a lot of indie stuff too. I literally said I just celebrated backing 250 projects on Kickstarter. Uh, my wallet didn't celebrate it, but I backed 250 projects. That's pretty good, and a
Mm,
large majority of those are by like writers or artists. So yeah,
yeah. I'm about to say,
For me,
what about you, Morgan?
I just bought like maybe a month ago. I got the Christopher Priest run of Black Panther. So I'm reading that as far as something that's from Marvel or DC. Everything else is indie. Just like Danny, like my people in the indie community, I back without even looking. I don't even look at their project. You know what I mean? Like when it comes up, if they my people, I go ahead and back it. And Danny just got the 250. I'm at 200. So we're obviously either insane or we're making way more money than we think.
Oh my
um,
God.
but yeah, mainstream, that is the newest thing that I'm reading, and everything else is indie. Like I was just reading my bro Greg Burnham's his brother's series. I just started that.
Hmm.
Um, God, the name is freaking escaping me right now. Um, Greg Anderson, Lisa,
Lisa, it's not the Were Spider.
Yeah.
the Where
Somebody
Spider.
said Christopher Priest is writing Superman. Is that right?
He's writing
Yes,
Superman
he is.
Lost.
Lost. Yeah, it's called Lost.
Hmm. That's where he's got the white suit.
Yo, I didn't even know. Like I picked up.
Mhm.
I didn't start it. I picked up the books because I was like, yo, this looks kind of cool. But I didn't even start reading them. I didn't know Christopher Priest was writing that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I will definitely say, if you want some other like some really good ones, I've actually really been enjoying Toshion Yambuchi's Captain America: Symbol of Truth. That book's been really good. That's the Sam Wilson Captain America title, because they're doing like, yeah, it's like Steve Rogers has Sentinel of Liberty. Sam Wilson has Symbol of Truth. And they kind of play off they've largely been telling their own stories, but right now they're really playing off each other because they're doing Cold War right now. But Toshion Yabuchi's book has been great from the beginning. Sentinel of Liberty's been great too, but once again, we're talking about POC writers. I've actually really been enjoying Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales Spider-Man as of late. Danny Lore, who's over on Blade, daughter Blade. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Danny Lore, who's on Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. That book's been really good as of late. Well, I say as of late, I mean, just it's a book that's just running. And I'm trying to remember, there was you mentioned Superman, the Jamal Campbell stuff. Yeah, Christopher Priest over on Superman Lost is a very interesting book. I don't know how I 100% feel about it, but it's definitely an interesting book. And Evil Ewing's Monica Rambeau Photon just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that one was really good. It ends very strangely, but it's okay. I'll let it slide. She's got Black Panther on her mind. I'm okay with it. She got Black Panther on her mind. I'm not mad at her. She got Black Panther. I think her Black Panther comes out like I think a month or two or something like that. So yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
That whole series was worth it just for that Brian Stelfreeze cover.
Oh yeah, no, I'll take all that. Look, if they just want to do more of that, I'm fine with that. But yeah, there's plenty of Black writers, artists. I mean, if you just go to the Milestone side, Vita Ayala, Nicholas Draper Ivy over on Static right now, and yeah, I always tell people, man, like we're out here. You might have to look for us, but we're out here.
There are so many people that I know that don't know who Rob Guillory was, or they only know him from Chew, and
but
don't
nothing
realize
else.
he's black.
Mm-hmm. And then I was about to say they're not reading Mosley or any other stuff he's been working on.
I'm always because that's not Marvel or DC. It's an Image.
No, that's an Image.
I'm an Image guy first, but like that book, I just started rereading Farmhand from him, and it's ridiculous. It's so good. It is so good.
Honestly, if you go into the Image sector, you're gonna find some pretty solid books by people of color. I think Yeah, Rob Gillard. Mosley's actually really good. It's a book that I'm always conflicted about when I read it, but it is very good.
Sure.
I had another one here, or I think it actually was more like a super chat from the previous one where we were doing the chit chatting. Let's see here. We got one here. Let's see here. This is actually LL Melvin with $2 super chat. This was in reference to something you said earlier, Carl. You were talking about Danny being caramel. That boy ain't caramel. He is nougat.
I don't know what nougat is, but it's delicious though, so I'll take it. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's made of.
He's nougat.
But I love nougat, especially in the Snickers. I'll take it.
But no, but no, we got and let's see. I guess let's because that wasn't so much of a question, but let's see. I'm looking just to make sure. Let's see. Okay, well, yeah, here, we'll do this. This will be the last one. This is another one for Bill. It says, question for the writer. Would comic book publishers be affected by the writer strikes, and some comic book writers or novel writers may also be screenwriters? Because that is true. A lot of the writers who we don't even think about in mainstream comics are TV writers. I know Brian Hill is one. Brian Hill's one. Zeb Wells. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Benjamin Percy also writes for TV sometimes. But yeah, what do you think about that?
I'll tell you what the problem is, and it might be one of the attributing factors to what the writers are striking about. In comic books. So just like we were talking about earlier, there's a whole machine behind these, behind these huge books, right? In Marvel, DC, they got these huge machines as, independent comic books. If I don't write Ace Blade don't get done. But for Marvel and DC, every piece is just as replaceable as the next. It really.
You don't want to write?
You don't want to.
Hey, who one of them, the lightning writers, whatever the heck Marvel calls their developmental? Hey, one of y'all come on in here and write this.
Go get that nougat guy. Go get the nougat guy. He'll write. But it really, a lot of people are looking for their shot in comics. So even the writers who are writing on projects who might be, and again, I agree with what they're striking about, because in comics, comics are the same thing. It's more paid. We've been talking about comic book writers not getting their right pay for these, especially these huge comic book movies. Jim Stark, not being paid for Thanos and the Winter Soldier creator. So we've been talking about that for a long time. The issue is that there's no union or anything like that in even for the mainstream guys. So if you don't want to write it, especially today, they're gonna replace you with somebody who's looking for their shot to write Deadpool or Superman or whoever. And
Skynet.
or now Skynet.
I about to say, Chat GTP is out here, or GPT, whatever. Dude, Chat GPT. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. Someone showed me something they had Chat GPT write up for them, and I was like, bruh.
I'm trying to tell you, we were just talking about this on the show like maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it's insane and hilarious at the same time, and in a very terrible way, that we've literally watched this movie and we're still like, this is a great idea. Like we legit are at that point in human history where our AI is getting pretty dang good. You know what I'm saying? At doing what it does. We already have the United States government and world governments that are looking at how big of an effect that's going to have on the job market with AI and with automation, and especially because especially because generation to generation jobs are changing, and how they're going to fill those jobs and get them done are changing too. Because if we think corporate America won't pay for a robot to do the same thing that you do, especially at like a fast food restaurant or something, are you smoking? You know what I'm saying? Like
They already got the fully automated Taco Bells. Like,
dude, like have you walked to a McDonald's lately?
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
They don't even have a person take your order anymore inside.
That and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I prefer it.
Oh no, same.
You
part of the problem, sir.
Look, I'm being honest. With you. When I do at Sheets, right? You know, Sheets has the personal checkout kiosk now. If you think I'm going to stand in front of the cashier when I can scan these joints myself and get out of here in a minute or two faster, are you kidding me? There's no way I'm doing it.
I'm a proud supporter of self-checkout.
Amen, my brother. I'm a card carrying member.
I just try to make it easier.
What the fuck does the Lakers have to do with that? Why did he just stunt and just start? Why did you do that?
You know,
I know he's about to kick us off, so I just want to getting dressed. I'm just getting dressed so I can go. That's all.
He brought up self checkout and he put the Lakers fitted back on. What does one have to do with the other, sir?
He was checking himself out. He was self checking out.
He checked himself out of this chat. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping some more of the audience will self check out on the Kickstarter as we get self check out of here.
Yes,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Which by the way, link is pinned at the top of the chat.
And we appreciate y'all very, 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 very much.
Man, thank y'all for having us, man. We always have a good time talking to y'all.
Oh yeah, dude. Anytime. Like I said, I just want to say, I've noticed. I've been watching. The Kickstarter has been going up. It's still going up.
Oh yeah.
So like I said,
I legit would come on the show every week just to hear more stories.
Like I would never get any actual comic book content. If we were on here more, y'all would never actually get comic book content.
Look, let me tell you something. It's part of that's also part of the reason why no one has gotten a comic out of me, is because I'm always I live stream every Saturday, videos every week. Yeah, do y'all know? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever this goes into full swing for me, it will very likely y'all will see a lot less videos from me for a while. at least until I can figure it out. But no, I applaud what you all do, and I think this is just an awesome idea. I like seeing I like seeing us out here making great content and kind of broadening the horizons of other readers. Like I said, take like showing how versatile you both are, just in the fact that y'all can do superhero comics, but you can also do stuff that's outside of superhero comics. You can also create comics that have a great setting, powerful messages, interesting nuanced characters, and just things that are unlike what we typically see in the spectrum of comics, and even I would even say also among even other Black writers and artists and all other creatives across the entire spectrum. So yeah, I appreciate everything y'all are doing, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to get my hands on both of these comics.
Hey, we appreciate you. And man, literally, if you need somebody to point you in a direction for when you start to work on your comic books, if you need a guest writer or editor or anything like that, or
I will definitely
an artist that will stay on time. We got you.
Wait, and will not be trying to pass off the boys. Number one,
we can't help you with the boys artists. You don't know the artist of the boys, but
I won't send you the boys. I'll just chat GPT you something.
It's like, look, Hey, Skynet, man. That's how they gonna get us, man.
Skynet these streets.
Look, man, y'all thought the Terminator was science fiction, man. Look, it's coming.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you, man. 6 months, dude. 6 months,
and
dude.
The bad thing is we applauding it. Like, yes, he will be back.
Yeah.
Kill us all.
Look, I always tell people, you say what you will about them Star Wars prequels, but there's a line from the prequels that has always haunted me ever since, and it was, "This is how democracy dies, with raucous applause."
and then President Trump was elected. So
yeah, so exactly. It was like, it's like, oh, y'all are excited about this. Well, damn.
Dude, Trump got elected as president, and one of the hottest Drake songs in the streets right now wasn't actually made by the real Drake. It was the AI one. Dog.
I'm trying to tell you.
Dog.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
We live in dark times, sir. We live in dark times.
I'm just saying.
But thank you guys so much. And yeah. Y'all and like I said, hopefully like whatever comes next, we'll get you back in here. And like I said, I look forward to it. And of course, I'll be keeping up with you both regardless, because
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right, bye.
Peace. All right, y'all. This is we're gonna get to a little more business as per usual, but I do want to say, please, if you haven't done so already, go check out the Kickstarter. Like I said, link is at the top. I'll try to remember to put it in the description and everything later. Carter will have it in the notes for the podcast version of this when it goes up. Here, let's do this real quick. Nope. And here, let's do that. Bam and bam. There we go. We are in the norm. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna look through some super chats too, because there were some super chats from the previous one that I missed. I just thought to go back and look for them. We have got one here from Gokon Shuri's baby father said with the $5 says, Blerd, saw your X-Men Red video recently. In my honest, he said, in my opinion, respectfully, Storm should have flipped Xavier over in that chair, telling a black queen she not a god. Boy. I agree. I don't disagree with anything that she said at all. Let's see. And then also, oh man, I wish I would have asked this while they were still here. It says, do y'all four brothers agree next time Professor X tells a black queen she's not a goddess, she flips in his wheelchair? That's $5 also by Gokon Shuri's baby's father. Carter, how do you feel about that?
Don't know, just because you asked the question and I saw something from Witch Dr. Son in the chat saying, holy shit, with AI, we can make Carter sing the 1999 jingle. That's where my mind went.
Oh, damn. He's like, wait a minute, no. Look, y'all just saw real, genuine terror strike into Carter's heart. Let's see here. Gokon Shuri's baby's father also with the $5 says, I know why he didn't he replied. He's talking about my father-in-law. Says good. Yeah. He said, because your wife told him you got hands. Oh no, he knows he don't want none of this. And I think that's all the ones from that. We also got LP3. We got LP3 here with the $5. These I can actually show because they're not from the previous stream. It says, have you guys read Colin Kaepernick's graphic novel? I believe NBA player Rudy Gobert has one too. I have not. I didn't know he had a graphic novel, so I'll be looking for that.
It's what the fuck was it? I think it was like Change the Game or something like that. Or something the game. I remember that.
Yeah. Part. Okay. And then we got another one here from Gokon Shuri. He is really on one about he's on one about this Professor X. So what shoes you think Storm should wear to stop Professor X fruit snacks out next time he's being an idiot? I mean, I always say get the red bottoms. You know, put the red bottoms on.
Here's the thing. And if if you threaten someone
Mm-hmm.
and their response is a very calm do it, just know that pain is coming.
Yeah.
Because when Xavier told Storm, I could just take it. Okay. And got yeeted across that damn room. I know Patrick Stewart was tight.
Oh yeah. Oh no, look, they look like I said, come on, Cletus.
And then you got yeeted across the room from a move you taught. You taught her that move. You ugly as hell. You taught her that move that slingshot you across the council table.
Mm-hmm.
There is a scuff on that table because of a move you taught somebody.
And he got some carpet burn on that bald head. He got a little carpet burn on the back of his head. Oh Lord, love it. Absolutely love it. We only have 2 other topics we're really gonna talk about because like I said, because of the stream messing up, and I just want to give them some more time to talk since we had some issues. We're gonna kind of run through our next couple of things pretty quickly. Carter.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen the news or not. So Across the Spider-Verse, been making waves.
It's been making me very impatient. Not even because of the movie, it's just because there is a new pair of Jordan 1s out that are related to Across the Spider-Verse, and I can't get them, and it's pissing me off.
Dude, can I ask you a question? Did you ever think there would be a pair of shoes related to Miles Morales?
No. And you know what? Just to double down on what you said, it's the second pair.
Dude, that's just crazy. Is that not insane? Is that
No.
insane?
You know what? Here's a better question, right? Just to piggyback yours, did you ever think that there would be a Jordan in relation to Miles Morales and the Spot? Because there is a portion of that shoe that's related to the Spot.
Look, can I tell you something? Dude, the Spot is about to be the household name. The Spot is about to be a household name. That's insane to me. It is insane. But no, the reason why I bring this up is because co-director of Across the Spider-Verse, Kemp Powers, was talking with SFX magazine, and they were talking about how the movie ends. Because I don't know, Carter, do you remember when Spider-Verse was originally announced? Do you remember how they announced it?
No.
So originally, Across the Spider-Verse was not supposed to be just one movie. It was originally pitched as 2 separate movies, a part 1 and a part 2.
I thought you were talking about the first one. I'm sure.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense.
I thought you were talking about the first one. Yeah. No, but yeah, this you and I spoke about that on the Blerd Cave when, because we couldn't remember, and then we had that conversation about the Agatha Harkness name change that people forget actually happened. So yeah, I remember that now. Yep.
It was Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse was really supposed to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. Yep. Because the movies were created simultaneously. They were production was simultaneous, similar to what they did with because remember it was supposed to be Infinity War when Avengers were doing the Infinity War. I think it was supposed to be Infinity War and then Infinity Gauntlet, or like Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, something like that.
Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah, and then they changed it, and then it went to another name, and then we eventually got Endgame, whatever.
Yeah.
But all that changed. It was all flipped around, and now we have Across the Spider-Verse, and then whatever the sequel is going to be called. But the reason why we're bringing this up is because it's obvious now that regardless of the fact that these movies, they no longer are part one, part two, they're still very clearly telling one singular story. And the idea came up that this movie is going to end on a cliffhanger. So when we go see this movie in theaters, when we see all of the various and sundry different versions of Spider-Man chasing down Miles Morales, all of them pointing at each other because they don't know who the hell they're supposed to be chasing at first. And we got Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, who's going to be coming for that ass. What we now know is that, it's going to end on a cliffhanger. And what was said in this SFX issue is that Ken Power says, I think it's a good cliffhanger. We hope that it's a satisfying tee up for what's coming in the third film, because you want people to be excited about what's coming next. And it helps that we know going in that this was part 2 of a 3-part story. Since you already know that the third story is guaranteed, you can tackle it a bit differently. That said, there's a lot of key characters in this film, and there's a story in this film that has an arc of its own that we needed to complete. And this is where we go into the territory where it is then said that I was very satisfied after The Empire Strikes Back. And hopefully this is our empire. Now, here's the thing. And Carter, I don't know how you feel about this, because I know you might have a different opinion here. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars. However, do you know my least favorite thing to hear someone say about their story, Carter? Whenever a second, whenever the second movie is brought up, or second installment in anything is brought up, my least favorite thing to hear someone say is, this is my empire, or this is going to be our Empire Strikes Back. This is going to be like Empire Strikes Back. You know why I hate that phrasing? Because it rarely ever is.
Oh, of course.
When you try and say, hey, this movie is going to be like Empire Strikes Back, that is such an iconic movie that typically, even people who aren't Star Wars fans generally have a rough idea of what you mean when you say it.
If you don't know what he means right now when he says that, think about everybody understands this. That's a gamer.
Yeah.
All those first-person shooters that come out that everyone swears up and down is going to be the fucking Halo killer. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. When someone says Empire Strikes Back, what they're trying to tell you is that this is going to be the movie that's going to have a dark ending, is going to leave you empty by the time it's over. And not empty in a bad way, but like when you get to the end of the movie, you're going to be like, oh my God, how are they going to get out of this? And honestly, it's kind of like Infinity War, how Infinity War was for a lot of people. When you get to the end of Infinity War, you're just like, how are you gonna, like, that was one of the rare times I ever saw someone say, this is our Empire Strikes Back, and they actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
And
that's a memory that's going to stay with me for a very long time of all these iconic Marvel characters getting wiped out, Thanos smiling, and then just credits.
Yeah. And
the people's reactions was,
and you know how like Marvel, they always like do this thing like so-and-so will return. They didn't say the Avengers will return. They said Thanos will return. Like, they didn't say Spider-Man, they didn't say Iron Man, they didn't say any of the various characters that died in that movie. They said, no, Thanos will return. Dude, there were people who were literally like hanging their head in their hands. Like, folks were shook at the end of that movie. They were shook. Yet they were still excited and happy and amped up and just like, oh my God, like, how is this gonna go next? And one of those things, it's like, once again, I hate hearing people say that this is going to be our Empire Strikes Back, because once again, it rarely ever is. It rarely is ever on that level. So I am instantaneously concerned for this film. Now, I think it'll still be good. And I also want to make sure I'm clear about this. It's not to say when people say this is going to be our empire, the movie just automatically turns out to be dog shit. That's not the case. That's not really what I mean here. What I mean is just it's never going to live up to the hype that they're claiming. Mm-hmm. And it ends up setting a very poor representation of what people can expect sometimes. Because people, you say Empire, especially to someone who's well-versed in Star Wars, you say your movie's going to be like Empire, anyone who is like even remotely invested in Star Wars is automatically going to have an idea of what that movie should be. And if it's not that, you're going to leave that person very disappointed. So that's why I always say like, ooh, man, I wish people would stop saying that. But I'm hoping this is one of the instances where it turns out to be good. I'm hoping. But Carter, I don't know, like, what, I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think that even is going to mean? Does that even mean anything?
Well, one thing that it's gonna mean is that Gearless Mo is in the diamond mine, the Blerd Club Diamond Mine, 28 months. So that's our empire right there. If I could be perfectly honest with you, anytime I've heard that shit, it's gone in one ear and out the other, just because being a gamer and hearing how many games have been dubbed the Halo killer, I've heard that so many times to where it's like, okay, whatever. Let's get to the shits. You know what I mean? So when I hear that about this one, I don't really care, just because I'm looking at it from a music standpoint, not the soundtrack, but I look at it just back of like the early 2000s with like, I don't know, let's keep it black. Certain rappers would have a debut album and it just slaps. Just A1. Now that next album has to come out.
Sophomore album.
Yeah, that sophomore album got to come out. And it has been shown several times when that sophomore album come out.
Well, there's a reason why they have a term called the sophomore slump.
Yeah. So that's really the only thing I'm worried about with this film is I really hope that it can, especially because this is supposed to be a two-parter. Now, let me say this. They've given us no reason to think that this movie is going to be bad. There's been no controversies. The first one was great. They have nowhere to go, like, but up. So I'm not saying that the film is going to be bad. Ernie is not saying that the film is going to be bad. When I hear shit like that, I don't care. Like that's marketing is how I've always looked at it. I've never paid any of that shit any kind of attention, because I wouldn't have even known that was a comment that was made until you said it, just because if it's something that I want to see, I'm just gonna go see it.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? Remember we talked about this a while ago, but remember like when early on in Donny Cates' Hulk, where they were like, oh, here comes Titan, he's like Hulk's version of Null. Like, that was a popular phrasing people tried to use, like, for, like, a New York Minute. We're like, oh, there's a new big bad. He's like the Null for this character, so on and so forth, because Null was the hotness. Or, like, same with the Batman who laughs. Oh, the Batman who laughs. There's a that everyone kept trying to reuse that as, like a trope. That's what it's kind of along those lines for me. But yeah, I honestly wouldn't have heard about it if it was not for the fact that it was in reference to Star Wars. Like, that's the only reason I ever heard about it, because I was like, oh, okay. But to call to what Jonathan Moda was putting out here, said much respect, says looking forward to Spider-Man, but worried about the Latin Spider-Man being the villain. It's kind of wild, because it's not the way I imagined Miguel O'Hara being introduced, especially based on how he was introduced in Into the Spider-Verse in the post credit. He was kind of introduced as just like he was going to be a fun character that was going to be added to the gang. And now he's like, you know, the quotey fingers bad guy, which I don't think he'll be the bad guy per se. I think a lot of what we were seeing in the trailer, I feel like we're not seeing the whole story. I think we're going to, because we haven't seen as much of Spot, which is probably for a good reason. I think Spot, the Spot is really going to be the one that, you know, is the problem. I feel like Miguel O'Hare is only going to be the bad guy in so much as, or at least I hope, in so much as he's trying to stop Miles from doing quotey fingers, the thing that Miles should not do that will ultimately result in like the Spider-Verse just falling apart. And I kind of get that. Like, I kind of get that. Like, that part I'm okay with. But, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. And I am hoping that it is good. I think it will be good. I don't think the movie is going to be automatically bad now. But it makes me like go, ooh, I guess I'm gonna taper my expectations just in case. Also shout out to Jonathan Moda for that that 99 max damage in Final Fantasy super chat there. We appreciate your pimp. Hope all is well. Let's see here. I see what Bill's talking about. Bill says, would it be crazy if Spider villain Vampire would be taking control of Miguel? No, not Morbius, the villain of the Spider-Verse saga, but I forgot his name. Moreland. You're thinking about Moreland. Who was what I actually always liked the idea of Moreland, but he doesn't get used very often. But yeah, like Tubes the one say he's the antagonist, not a villain. Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Like, he's not. I feel like Miguel O'Hare is not going to be the quotey fingers bad guy. He's just going to be the guy that, like you said, the antagonist. He's just the guy that's opposing Miles in what he's doing, which I'm perfectly fine with. He says Latin on Latin because Miles is Puerto Rican. Yeah, it's gonna be some brown on brown crime. I don't know how I feel about that part. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be okay. And yes, I did catch the Doctor Strange reference. In the new. Okay, you know what? They're talking about. There was a trailer that recently came out. I didn't watch it because. Or I watched a part of it. It was showing a lot of the same stuff, so I just kind of was like, okay, let me just push this off to the side. But if it's in any way similar to the reference they made about Spider-Man and No Way Home, then I'm hoping they just keep that going. Let's see here. Oh, dude, you know what? Did I see the season? Oh, I gotta check now. We got one here from Pop Culture Guy 3000 asking if we saw the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur finale. It says Blerd and Co. What do y'all think of the Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur? How'd you like to see this finale? Think it will gain popularity during the strike? I want to make sure I'm correct in this. So I'm about to look this up right now. Because I know Moon Girl did this weird thing where they added extra episodes. They added extra episodes after the fact.
Okay.
And okay, I have not watched the finale. I'm actually behind by a couple episodes. Apparently, they added some issues. Good Lord. They added some episodes and I haven't watched them yet. But I will say this. I've seen the majority of them, and honestly, I love the show. Everyone I have introduced to this show loves the show. And I want to make sure I'm clear when I say this. Not even just black people, but people from all walks of life. I have not met a single person who has been able to watch that show and look me in the eye with a straight face and tell me they didn't like it. No one could do it. Even people who typically don't like stuff like it. And what was kind of the barometer for me was my daughter, because anything I suggest to her, she usually like tries to be like, I don't like that. Or like, because I'm interested in it, she doesn't want to be interested because she has to be. My daughter is a contrarian. This young in her life, she's already a contrarian. But once she sat down and watched it, like she would ask if we could watch it, like just on her own. Or like I would come in the room and she was watching it on her own because she was enjoying it. And she is hard to please. So yeah, I think they have something. I think they have something with this. And yeah. I think it will do very well during the drought that's coming from the writer strike. Carter, did you catch any more Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur?
Honestly, I have not, just because I have been on a just comic excursion recently, just reading a lot of stuff that I had said I would and completely forgot about. So I haven't checked for that book, or that TV show, excuse me. Because I've been reading other books. I finally sat down because I finished Bitterroot. I just sat down and read, or I started Far Sector. I'm gonna tell you something that you should read though before we get into recommended and stuff. That Tom King Strange Adventures book is hitting.
Oh yeah.
But the respect, it's making me want to read Mr. Terrific stuff.
Oh really?
Tom King's real deal putting some respect on Mr. Terrific in that book with just how he is. Mr. Terrific kind of seemed cold just reading.
Dude, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. People sleep on Mr. Terrific, but he's a fantastic character.
Absolutely was.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading this, and it's like, okay, now I want to read some other shit now.
I mean, I don't. You correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever actually. I know we even kind of brought up the Terrifics.
Yeah.
Back when it was mentioned by James Gunn. But did you ever read the Terrifics back when it was running?
Not a one.
Because that was Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire, early days, not early days Jeff Lemire, but like I want to say, I can't remember if Jeff Lemire wrote the entire. I don't remember if he wrote the entire series. He may have, because I know, Jeff Lemire is one of those guys that, like, he's all over the place. Once he, once you kind of, no, he did not. He did not write the entire series. I think he exited at some point. I think it was Gene, oh my God, why am I blanking on the name? Gene Lun Yang, I think was the one who finished the book. But Jeff Lemire started it. It was really good. They even introduced a Mrs. Or a Ms. Terrific.
Yeah, I'll check those out now, but like for sure, this Strange Adventures Black Label book is really making me put some respect on Mr. Terrific. Oh man, like, whew, Lord, that's a cold brother in that book. I would absolutely recommend you read that book. It's Tom King, so it's 12 issues. I'm at 6 right now, and it's that book has a lot in it, man. Tom King's Black Label stuff is just, with the exception of Batman and Catwoman, is A1.
Okay, all right. I respect that. I respect it.
That's not even my recommended. I just want you to read that because I know you like Mr. Terrific.
Oh yeah, and I love me some Mr. Terrific. Dude, fair play, man. I actually found that jacket.
Still don't know what the fuck that means, but he rocking it in there.
It was basically the moniker. It was like a moniker that he went by, which I always thought was a very interesting one, but it's cool. It's cool. I dig it. I always thought it was kind of a cool thing that he did. Plus, like, the idea of him coming in and taking up the place of a character that did we lose you?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, your camera started blinking, and I was like, oh my! I was like, is it me?
You know what? Let's do this. Carter don't even want to play anymore because I can buy my own plates now. Carter need a camera. Carter needs a fucking camera. That's a new hashtag you all want to make up. You all don't have to worry about the plate anymore. I got car note now and car insurance. I get my own damn plate. Carter need a camera like a motherfucker though. Matter of fact, Carter needs a chair and a fucking camera, bro.
Yeah.
Carter going across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. But no, that's what I meant to that's what I meant to tell. But no, so you might dig this, Carter. You might dig this. So basically the reason why he wears it, because like it was a thing both he and the original Mr. Terrific did.
I didn't know there was original.
Yeah, the original Mr. Terrific was white. So yeah, Mr. Terrific is one of those few examples of a legacy character coming in that is a person of color, taking up the mantle of a previously white character, and no one really remembering the white character. Matter of fact, most people, because the original Mr. Terrific was Terry Sloan.
Okay.
And they've met before, but what I always found very interesting was that the reason behind Fair Play was because, at least for the reasoning that Terry Sloan, the original Mr. Terrific, did it, and I think Mr. Terrific as we know him also kind of adopted this as well. The idea was that the world wasn't fair, and this is me paraphrasing, but the idea was that their mission was to make it fair. So that's kind of where Fair Play comes from. It's a gross oversimplification, but that is more or less like, to give you an idea, like, check this out. This is a cover. This is like a textless cover. This is like the original, and you'll see, I forgot we're not doing the virtual camera thing, but you'll see it here in a moment. If you got the stream pulled up, but you'll see the original Mr. Terrific on the left, obviously, you know.
I went to my Google tab and Janelle Monáe was still.
Oh, this look. That's why your eyes went wide there for a second. See, look at still had look. Is that gonna be the title? Is that gonna be the title of the episode? Janelle Monáe. Is that what's gonna happen?
No, that white Mr. Terrific looks terrible compared to the brother.
Well, of course, because that Mr. Terrific was created like, God, Terry. Oh, let me. I don't know off the top of my head, but Terry Sloan. Here, let's see here. Yeah. Terry Sloan, DC. You saying
Comics. Of course. So if I say that Jay Garrick looks like trash, I can't give me grief anymore because Ernie just said, of course, about this legacy character.
Well, I mean, we're talking about in comparison. Like, we're talking about a character that was invented in 1942. The original Mr. Terrific came out in 1942. So, of course, with the passage of time, the newer one is going to look infinitely cooler.
I keep talking about Spider-Verses, and I just heard Ernie's voice echo and got scared as hell. I thought I had volume all the way turned down on
this man. This man. Oh my God. Let's move on to our next topic. Blade's Mia Goth. So, Carter, have you been keeping up with any of the Blade news as of late, sir?
No, I have not. Like, on purpose. Like, because it's people whining about the comic, or it's people that don't know what they're talking about the film. So it's just like, I've muted Blade. I have muted Black Vampire, Colored Vampire, Negro Vampire. I have muted all that from my Twitter. I don't want to see nothing about Blade until a book is out. Until a film is in theaters.
There you go. I mean, I'm not mad at you for it. So for those who have not been keeping up, the Blade production has been in some dire straits as of late. So for those, basically, the best way to put it is, so Blade was already kind of behind. They had to go back and get a rewrite on it due to some issues. It lost its director. There was a lot of issues that were holding Blade back. Everything kind of seemed to be back on track for the most part. But then the Writers Guild strike kind of came in and did it again. Now the production of Blade has been halted. Because that's something I think people don't think about when it comes to writers. Sometimes when movies are being made, this is actually more common with television shows, but even with movies, sometimes the writers go back in and redo stuff. So that's work, which means if that is the case, means they will very likely take another break. So that's
like we have lived through several different writer strikes, because I can remember one before this. I feel like you and I
one
have
before this.
Okay.
There was one before
Okay.
this. This was the one that came out that led to some of the worst seasons of television and some of the worst movies in recent memory.
I remember explicitly that this has happened sometime before, just because I didn't realize late night like Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien had writers.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that until that writer strike. So we have, goddamn,
still do.
We have to, yeah.
So yeah, it's last time people might recall season 2 of Heroes. That was during the writer's strike. That's why it was trash. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen was also
It was gonna be bad regardless.
It was gonna be bad regardless, but the writer's strike didn't do it any favors. Also, Star Trek Into Darkness, which with the passage of time, I hate the movie less, but the movie was produced during the writer's strike, and you could tell. But yeah, that said, and I don't think we talked about this previously. I don't think we talked about this, but Mia Goth, who some of you may be familiar with from movies like X and Pearl, because those are some of the more recent movies she's done that have kind of like elevated her, her star and, just all that good stuff. And for good reason, because I don't even really want to say, because I don't know, X has been out for a while. The reason why her star elevated is because in the movie X, she actually plays 2 different characters. And the second character she plays, one of them, the first and foremost, being the star of the movie, but the second is she also plays the villain of the movie.
Yep. Never knew that until recently.
Yeah, she
Never
also
knew
plays
she was the old lady.
Yeah, she is the old lady in the movie that is trying to kill everybody. And that's not even really a spoiler, because it's not like, it doesn't like change what the plot of the film is, or it doesn't reveal what the plot of the film is. It's just from an actor standpoint, she is playing both the protagonist and the villain of the movie at the same time. And there's no story reason behind it, just how it played out.
Married and has a child with Shia LaBeouf.
I did not know that. That is wild to me. But another reason I think people will probably also be familiar with it too is because, as I said, with X, she played the villain. She also recently had some acclaim for her performance in the movie Pearl, which is a prequel to X. So yeah, it's like she's been proving her acting chops as of late, and for good reason. But one of the rumors that started making the rounds, and I don't know if this is going to be the case. Actually, I take this with a huge grain of salt, but it would track for her as an actress. Is a lot of people believe that the character she is going to be playing is none other than a character whose star recently rose because of the Midnight Suns video game. And that is the character of Lilith. A lot of people believe that she is going to be playing Lilith in the Blade movie. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I think it may not be the case, and I'll maybe even tell you a reason why I think it could be the case. First and foremost, I think the reason why it could potentially work out is because, well, for one, Lilith's cachet is kind of up right now a little bit. She's not a character that gets commonly used in the comics anymore. I think the last time we saw her in the comics or anything close to her was during Benjamin Percy's, not Benjamin Percy's, Ed Brisson's Ghost Rider. She pops up there, but like that's a whole other story altogether, and it's a completely different incarnation of the character, different from what we're typically used to seeing her look like.
Did they say she was gonna be someone else as well? Because I swear to God, you talked about this on a different cave.
Well, no, I didn't know who she was. I think we talked about her being in the movie, but we didn't know who she was going to be playing.
Gotcha.
I had no idea who she was going to be playing. Personally, that's the only case I can make for it. I think people are honestly just kind of grasping, but that's just me. Until I see more, I cannot rightfully say. Carter, what do you think about this?
Nothing. Just because, like you said, you got to take this with a grain of salt. And honestly, until this strike is over with, until interviews start, until I see a trailer, I have always been a proponent. Before you all were talking about let them cook, I was always a proponent of just let them cook. I stopped. Okay, I know Blade's coming, right?
Yes.
Until I see a trailer, I don't care anymore. All these rumors and will they, won't they, this, that, this. Is peanut butter better than pickles? Like, I don't care. I don't care. Until we have concrete hearing it from people's mouths on TV show interviews, I don't miss me with that. Yeah. That's how I've always been.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I think that's a fair way to be. I think it's a fair way to be. I personally am just very whatever about it. I mean, it would run counter to some of the things that people have said about the previous script, because the previous script was said to be more down to earth. Lilith is anything but. I also think Lilith is a pretty interesting big bad to just throw at Blade off rip. Considering that Lilith, for a character who's not as popular as, say, other villains like Thanos and Galactus and Kang, so on and so forth, Lilith is in their weight class as far as villains go. Like, Lilith isn't a villain that Blade just comes in and mops up. You know what I mean? So even if you go to the Midnight Suns video game, it literally takes an entire roster of Avengers and Midnight Suns to take down Lilith. I don't know how true any of this is. And honestly, I kind of hope it's not. But that's just me. I would be perfectly fine if Mia Goth was just playing random vampire number 12. And that is her character, and it's someone completely original to the series, or to any of it. And later on down the road, she becomes so popular that they make her a part of the comics, kind of like what they've been doing lately with characters. Or I say and lately, this is going.
Make them a part of the comics, and they stick.
Yeah, like characters like Coulson, and then Darcy from the Thor movies. In WandaVision, she's now part of the Scarlet Witch universe. I wouldn't be upset with that at all. If you said, no, we're just gonna make this a part of the thing. It's in the comics now.
So with you reading Green Arrow, you can answer me this question, because they brought him over. Is Diggle in the new comic?
Yes. Not in this issue, not in the first issue,
but
he's gonna be in the series. Yeah, because Diggle was in the Benjamin Percy run of Green Arrow, the one that came out prior. Diggle was actually, technically, he was in the New 52 stuff too. But yeah, and I gotta admit, if we're comparing Diggles, comic book version's better. Comic book version is infinitely better than the version of Diggle that we got from the CW. I'm just gonna put that out there. But yeah, because he's just a badass. He's not like a dude who's like trying to pretend that he's not as cold as he thinks he is. Like, that dude is a whole, like, I don't want to use the term super soldier because he's not, but I mean, but that dude is like, y'all remember John Matrix from Commando? That's Diggle in the comics. That dude is a whole problem. That dude will beat the brakes off Green Arrow if he get out of line. but yeah, I and also anyone who is interested, and I think I've said this before when I did my video for Green Arrow, if anyone, if there's any Green Arrow comic that you should check out, I do highly recommend Benjamin Percy's Green Arrow. It is fantastic. But that said, dude, I've never actually thought to call them that. Completely White, the CW, Lord. The Completely White, dude. Speaking of, did you? I don't know if because this is there's really nothing else here. Did you catch the news, Carter? The CW is apparently going to be cutting back how many episodes they do for their TV seasons now.
I'm not surprised. I don't know anyone who watches that shit anymore.
Well, they did 22, 24 episodes for everything, damn near.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to watch all that.
If it's not quality, no.
No, ain't nobody trying to watch all that. No, fuck that. But I think there's even a rumor now that Superman and Lois is actually leaving CW. That's going to go to HBO Max.
Oh, see,
supposedly.
I thought it was like ending.
I mean, it might be, but there's rumor that it's
I had read something where it said it was ending.
It probably is, but if it don't, it'll probably end up on HBO Max soon. So
yes, nobody except me. Winchester's got canned, and I think they're trying to shop it around.
Yeah, that one got shut down.
Nobody needed 22 episodes of Batwoman. I didn't say it.
Hey, look, I mean, to be fair, he also said nobody needed 22 episodes of Flash either. I mean, and that's not unfair. Like, honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. I have become a huge fan of the 10 episode format. 10 episodes, get in and get the F out. Don't be sitting there trying to hold everybody for 24 weeks straight. I don't like it. I much prefer the 10 episode format. 10 episodes, get in, get out, go. Okay? But that said, let's go ahead and get into our recommended. Carter, you already kind of told me what yours is going to be, so you want to go ahead and take the helm on this one?
Real quick, real fast. I said it in the Discord because I don't think a lot of people would expect it of me because I have clowned this dude's writing on several occasions. I've given him his flowers, but I've also snatched them back out of his hands and stomped them. But this week, my recommended is Nemesis Reloaded number 5. Just like last week with Batman number 900, getting to the ending was hard. But that ending was worth it. And that's the case with Nemesis Reloaded, man. That ending and what it is setting up is nuts. Absolutely outrageous. I was not expecting it. I'm hype. I'm not saying shit else. But yeah, Nemesis Reloaded for me.
I'll be quick about mine too. Mine's gonna be Captain Marvel number 49. This issue is the penultimate issue. It is also the finale of the Revenge of the Brood arc. This issue was great because it pays off a storyline that was decades in the making. Carter, I don't know if you know this or not, and I said I was gonna be quick about this, and I'm gonna try to be, but I don't know if you know this or not. Did you know that the attack of Rogue on Captain Marvel back when she was Miss Marvel, did you know that was never actually published originally?
No.
So it was actually in what ended up being a canceled issue. I believe it's Ms. Marvel number 25. It was actually a canceled issue. It never actually got released. It got released later. I think it was either Marvel Spotlight or Marvel's Superheroes or something like that. It got published later, and then it just kind of went on from there. But there's always been this rivalry, and everyone always talks about, Carol Danvers versus Rogue versus Carol Danvers. They don't like each other. Truth of the matter is, they've actually kind of been okay with each other for a while. Even if you go back to some of the comics where Carol Danvers was still Miss Marvel, even up to shortly before she became Captain Marvel, they were kind of okay with each other. They were kind of past all that BS. It's fans who never read any of those comics who don't know. And in Kelly Thompson's initial Captain Marvel run, she put that whole thing to bed and basically made it where they're okay with each other like 100%. Like they made up with each other and kind of was like, hey, look, what I did was messed up. And Rogue was like, what I did was messed up, and Captain Marvel's like, what I did, how I responded wasn't exactly great either. So hey, we're cool now. This issue actually takes that to the next level because right now Captain Marvel's working with the X-Men, Rogue being chief among them, and there's a really good, solid, wholesome moment between these two characters. And yeah, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say from there. The next issue will be the absolute end of Kelly Thompson's Captain Marvel run, and I believe Captain Marvel's going to have a limited series that comes out after this, and then they'll probably get another ongoing somewhere down the road after. But yeah, this is awesome. It's great. I highly recommend it. Also, it's a great end to the Revenge of the Brood finale because Captain Marvel just gets to go off. So yeah, I love it. Let's get into, before we get into our questions from the Discord, real quick, I do want to jump on some super chats here that we got. We got one here from Pop Culture Guy. Says, the Terrifics is the best Mr. Terrific showcase that isn't Strange Adventures. And Gene Luen Yang was a fantastic second writer. Yes. I think Terrifics ran for 30 issues, if I remember correctly. I honestly, Carter, I think you'd like it. I think you would really like it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Well, when you finish reading what you're reading, I most certainly want you to check out Strange Adventures.
Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. I've actually seen some of it. Read some of it. I haven't gone through all of it, but yeah, no, it had my interest just on the strength of Mr. Terrific. Also, I saw it here, I just wish Mr. Terrific had better powers. That's the thing. He doesn't have powers. That's what makes him great. His power is that he doesn't have any superpowers. So I think that's what makes him fantastic. Or, as he would say, terrific. Yeah, here, there you go, a little rim shot for everybody. Let's see. Says Gokon Shrewsbury's father with a $2 says Tom King made Wonder Woman a baby mama. Yeah, that was something we were going to talk about, but I cut it for time. Okay. Wonder Woman is having a daughter named Trinity. So that's going to make things interesting. I'm gonna wait to see how it plays out. I think it'll be fine, just based on what I've read from Tom King's comments about it. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. I am more curious to see how this daughter is going to interact. I'm more curious to see how this daughter will interact with Damien. Damien and John. Carter, you'll see it here in just a moment. I got it pulled up.
Nah, nobody except me is asking the same question I was gonna ask, and him and T1000 asked it the same way I was going to ask it. Who the pappy? Do we know?
We don't know, and I'm sure that's gonna be part of the plot. I'm certain. I am certain it'll be part of the plot of the whole thing. Oh yeah, another one here from Pop Culture Guy 3000 with the $4.99 says, I'm not crazy in thinking that Warner Brothers Discovery head honcho David Zaslav is an unabashed racist, right? Just look at every show, animated and otherwise, he canceled. No, you're not wrong. He is one of the MAGA elite. He is a huge Trump supporter, and yes, he wants his television just like he likes his ice cream, vanilla. When he walks into Baskin Robbins, he doesn't care about the other 30 some odd flavors. He only cares about one.
I can't stress enough that the words that are spoken were Blerd without fear, and his alone. Do not try to jumble me up with what the Blerd without fear says, because if any of y'all asses come up to me at a comic shop just to tell me you don't like what he said, you will get kicked in the chest.
It looks gonna be like on Boondocks, where dude was popping off. And Stink Meter took over Tom's body, and he just leapt in the air and drop kicked dude.
I will literally stand there and have a conversation with you all while you all tell me that you all don't like what Ernie said. We'll slowly walk you toward a section of comics where there are hardcovers, and you are not gonna like how they feel coming at a certain speed.
I mean, I'm not mad at you. Let me get rid of some of this. Ooh, man, I didn't realize how many images I had up. Let's get into questions from the Discord. We're gonna read 5 questions out of the Discord. No more, no less.
I think we only had 2, so
that actually works out even more perfectly.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Actually, we have 4. Let's see here. We got one from the homie Melvin says, "What's up?" Or rather, "What's upper? Good people of Blurco. I hope you had a nice breakfast, drink your water, and had a good rest. We all have a collection, big or small, that we hold dear to our hearts. But my question is, what are some keep, want to add, give away? This is like a KWG around you or on your shelf. I can definitely say for me, man, if we're talking collections in general, I've actually been playing this game, this oddly enough, with board games lately. I've given away a ton of my board games because I don't get to play them as often as I would like. But I will keep it comic related. I will say that for me, if I had to give something away, or I'd say we'll start with keep. If we're keeping, we're going to keep this Sandman.
Which volume is that?
This is the first one. This first volume right here.
Oh, man, you'd be rich had I...
But you know what? If I gave away anything, it'd be the second one. Not because I don't like it, but because it's actually worth a lot of money.
And now you know that's the one I had.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that was the one that you had that
And I just gave it away.
Yeah, that thing was like $300, almost $400 some dollars, or whatever.
I got it for $20. I got it for $20 when Hastings was going out of business when I was working there. It was when I was moving. That was something that's like, okay, this is too big to try to move all these. You want this? I just gave this one woman I knew who was a fan of Neil Gaiman. I just gave it to her.
It was like, yeet. And then if I wanted to add to my collection, it would be the third volume. Third volume, because I don't have it. And to be fair, the third volume is just the stuff that came out after the first, after Sandman proper ended. That's all it is. What about you, Carter?
The one that I'm looking at, I know for a fact I'd probably give away right now is Why the Last Man.
Okay.
The other ones, if you all know, I did a YouTube video not too long ago about when I went and picked up all my comics from my homeboy in Irvine, California. Mm-hmm. He had the majority of my collection, and there's a lot in that video because I showed you, it was a live stream. I showed y'all everything I went and picked up. It's a majority of those I give to y'all right now.
Damn. He's like, I ain't got room for all this shit. He's like, I ain't got room for all this bullshit.
It's well, let me not say majority. It was a nice chunk that I would just be like, who want it? Mm-hmm. If the shipping wasn't outrageous, I'd probably just send it to you all for shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I respect that. I respect that. You got anything you'd want to add? I already know what your keep is. You don't even have to say it. I already know what your keep is. You ain't got to say the keep.
Honestly, just because I know I feel like personally it's never coming out. The second book to Southern Bastards. That's what I want to add.
We still need to hit up Jason Aaron and be like, hey, bro, what's happening?
Honestly, I'd want to add a lot more Valiant stuff.
Okay. I respect that. I want
to add a lot more Valiant stuff.
Have you?
I'd probably give away this omnibus of The Sleeper.
Okay.
From Ed Brubaker. And this you want this Daredevil Ernie from Mark Waid? It's the end of his run. I don't want it because I only have volume 3 of this hardcover. I don't have 1 or 2, and I don't like how tacky this shit looks. Just having volume 3 just sitting here.
Actually,
and it pisses me off.
wait. Let me ask you a question. Look on the back of that book. Tell me what issues it has.
22 through 36 and Indestructible Hulk 9 and 10.
You want to hear something real ugly?
Uh-oh.
So this that I have in my hand right now,
Yeah,
is some of that, because this goes to 27, from 1 to 27, and it's got Amazing Spider-Man 677, Avenging Spider-Man number 6, and Punisher number 10. So yeah.
and this Punisher Max Volume 2 for no other reason than I had Volume 1 and someone took it when I was moving. So now I don't like looking at Volume 2
Wait a
because I
minute.
can't just grab Volume 1. You're a bastard.
I got
Oh
volume
no,
2.
that's Volume 2. That's Volume 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I got volume 2. That's why when you said it, I was kind of like,
Bought it from, you know what was funny? And I bought them both from the same spot, Ernie. Got them both at Comic Seller.
bruh.
Got them both at Comic Seller.
Damn. Look, that had to be back when they were next to the Don Dons over on Austin P. Or did you get on a recent visit?
No, this was not recent. You know what it was? It was before they moved to that big store and they were in that little ass claustrophobic ass spot.
Oh,
That's how long ago that was, bro.
Oh, so that was before the first move. Good lord.
Yeah. When they were in that like a
Back when
claustrophobic
it used to be like
bank
a
or some shit.
Yeah, it used to be a Regions, I think. It used to be like a little drive. It was a drive-through only Regions.
That got turned into a comic shop, people. This was how I had to find comics back then.
Bruh, I used to walk there because I used to go to Craigmont. So I every after school, I would always just go over there and hang out.
You fucking thug. I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Craigmont.
Yeah, dude. Shit. Dude, Craigmont.
Oh yeah,
I
went from that shop, went right across the street to Raleigh Springs Mall. Yep.
Damn. Yeah, I used to hang out there too. We'd go play Marvel's Capcom in the arcade and hang out in Averill Air, the airbrush shop that was in there. We got one from Jay Dizzle says, in the spirit of Jonathan Major's redemption arc with Megan Good, bravo PR team, I'd like to hope for a Professor X redemption arc. Unpopular opinion and question. While yes, it's widely known that Professor X is an egotistical jerk, I really feel like his heroic side has been diminished in the Krakoa era. If the Doc were to have a redemption arc, who might be a Megan Good to bring him back from the depths? Not romantically. Like, how would each of you write a redemption arc for Chuckers? Thanks. I can tell you how I would do it. You know what I would do is I would say, like, whatever happens after this era, I would have Charles around, but I would take every opportunity to make him take a back seat. Like, I would bring him back into the fold. I would have him make a public apology to everyone who he has done wrong. I would also just have him go on the apology tour. He would spend a huge chunk of the arc just apologizing to people, having separate conversations in between issues, or not in between issues, but I mean like in between like stuff that's going on, story beats and stuff where he's like, hey, just, I'm sorry, or he just, or trying through his actions to be better. And instead of trying to always lead, I would always have him like go out of his way to defer to someone else. Like, let's say, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just based on everything that's happening lately, let's say after the fall of X, let's say the new era of X-Men is led by Storm. Let's just pretend for 5 seconds that is what is going to happen. I would have it where if someone would like, sometimes when someone... And I don't know if anyone's ever been in this situation. I've been in this situation as a parent. I would do the parent, step-parent tactic that me and my wife do. And and we don't do it as much anymore now because stepson is not living with us anymore. But when he was, she would look to me. So like if he asked for something, and instead of asking both of us, he just went to her, she would look at me. That's what I would have Professor X do. Like if someone came to him and said, hey, what should we do about this, Professor? And then Professor X just look at Storm. Ask her. That's what I would do. That's how I would do it. Every time. Carter, you have an opinion on this?
No.
Okay. LJ Brown. Go ahead.
I don't want to think about making good right now because as far as we know, that's a rumor, but it was like I told you earlier. If that's the case, that motherfucker failing upward. Boy.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. LJ Brown says, with the writer's strike, are you guys worried this will cripple your favorite content like it did last time to the show Heroes and Lost? P.S. Carter, Electric Boogaloo. Rest in peace, Ozone. Hashtag Carter needs Cam. Hashtag free Janelle Monáe's tatas. Hey, she tried to. She was really trying to. Good Lord.
Oh, she wasn't trying. She did it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, fair. Hey, she like kisses on her neck. I ain't mad at her.
Let the pigeons loose.
Hey, I ain't mad at her. I don't know how much. I'll put it this way. I don't think we will know for another year. I think it'll be, if everything doesn't get wrapped up soon, we'll know in about a year. It'll take about a year for all this to hit us hard. Now, late night TV, like you like the Tonight Show, this, that, and the other, SNL, whatever, those, yeah, you're going to feel those immediately. But like TV shows, you're not going to feel it for like a year. Movies, you'll probably, maybe 6 months to a year. Movies, you won't feel it legit for another year or so. Maybe. And that's depending on how it goes. Let's see here. Urban Prince Strong Style says, sup, y'all? I'm out here with the Star Wars itch. So my question of today is, are you a Jedi, Sith, or Gray Jedi? And explain why. Have a good one. And also, may the Force be with you. And may the Force also be with you. So, for me, I can tell you off rip, I would not be a Sith. I don't like that kind of drama in my life. And I'm not a man about extremes. So I wouldn't be a Jedi either. I would be a Gray Jedi. I would be closer to what Ahsoka is, which technically is pretty much what she is. She's a Gray Jedi. For those who don't know the terminology, Gray Jedi is a term that used to come up in the old canon before Disney bought Star Wars. There used to be Jedi who were dead in the middle. They weren't light. They weren't dark. They were gray because they would use both sides, but they never leaned one way or the other. It's kind of why, and I don't know if some of you may or may not remember this, like a few weeks ago when I brought up Darth Vader, and I made the comment that I don't view Darth Vader as a Sith, because in the old canon, he technically wasn't. He was a dark Jedi in the old canon. New canon, he is a Sith. And new canon treats him as such. But like back in the day, they used to flirt with him more being just a dark Jedi.
Oh, dark Jedis can kill children?
Yes. But dark Jedi was just another way to refer to someone who turned to the dark side but wasn't traditionally a Sith. Like you could be a dark Jedi but not necessarily be a Sith. That was it was a weird gray area, and it's kind of why the term doesn't exist anymore. Now it's just you are either Jedi, Sith, or nothing. But Gray Jedi is kind of starting to make a comeback. They don't really use the term anymore, but basically that's what it is. It's kind of like a lot of the stuff that's in the new canon of Star Wars. It's all stuff that's kind of from the original canon. They just filed the serial numbers off and put it back in. It's like Thrawn. Thrawn is strictly the original canon. They just took him and put him in it, in the new canon. They didn't even file serial numbers off this one. But like characters like Rey, Kylo Ren, various concepts, the idea of Emperor Palpatine having clones made of himself so that he could live forever, all that stuff comes from the old canon. They just filed the serial numbers off and put it in the new stuff and pretended that it never happened before, that it was brand new to this. But no. Yeah, my reason is because I don't believe in extremes. That's why I would be a gray Jedi. I would use both the dark and light sides of the Force, because why not? Why limit yourself? Carter, what about yourself? Would you be a Sith, a Jedi, or a gray Jedi?
I wouldn't want to have to constantly look behind my back and knowing that there's somebody out there that's just going to be trying to come for the #1 headband. So I wouldn't be a Sith. I'd probably be the gray Jedi thing that you're referring to, just because I was watching a video recently. It's something called Tales of the Jedi. It was on YouTube. I didn't know that Dooku was a Jedi.
Yeah, he was a Jedi before.
And got salty because of what happened to his boy Qui-Gon, and then went across the street. So that I thought was kind of interesting. And it was like, okay, if he could do that, even though there were manipulations with what I call him, General Frankenbrains, Palpatine, whatever the fuck.
Emperor Palpatine.
There you go. He was manipulated by him, but he was a Jedi that just
flipped over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably be the gray one you all are talking about.
Yeah. Because it's also kind of like you have like Inquisitors. Like, yeah, that's kind of like another thing. There's Inquisitors. And Inquisitors, I mean, they're technically Sith, but like, for all intents and purposes, there's only like supposed to be 2 of them. So the fact that there's like a bunch of them should tell you something.
The 2 Inquisitors I have seen have been sisters, and they have both caught it. The sister from the Obi-Wan show and the sister from Fallen Order. Both
Trilla.
By the same band. So I don't want nothing to do with some fucking Inquisitors, bro. I don't want nothing to do with them.
Well, you know what the Inquisitors are supposed to be? The Inquisitors were supposed to be people who could take Darth Vader's place. Like the Emperor was always trying to replace Darth Vader. So when he first, like, matter of fact, if you go back and read the Charles Soule Darth Vader, when they introduce Inquisitors, at least in the comics, not so much in the shows, when he first meets the High Inquisitor, the reason the Emperor introduced the 2 of them because he wanted them to fight. He didn't tell them who the other person was or that they were on the same side. He just let the motherfuckers meet, and they threw hands, or rather threw sabers, and Vader almost killed that dude. And then Vader was like, "Oh, you didn't tell us because you wanted to see how this would play out." And the High Inquisitor was like, "So if I would have beat him, I would have been your #2." And he was like, "Yeah, pretty much." Because the Emperor was a piece of shit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I cower over nothing. And this last question from Discord says, who are the Skrulls that have been hidden among us the whole time? Honestly, I don't know how they're going to do that. But, man, I'm not going to lie. Low-hanging fruit's going to be Rhodey. I wouldn't be surprised if Ross was a Skrull. I don't know if it's going to be anybody, like, super close, though. Like, it's going to be one of the regular folk. I don't know if it'll be any of the heroes. It's hard to say at this point, but I definitely think Ross is a high candidate. Definitely. I think Rhodey's so much of a low-hanging fruit that it's just too obvious. Carter, what you think?
I don't know, honestly. I'm hoping that's not what it is, because it'd be too obvious.
Yeah, same.
But they do obvious. If you read the new issue of Spider-Man, they do the obvious shit.
Yeah.
You really hoping it's something else, but it's obvious as fuck. It's still bad.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping. It's not bad.
When I read the 25th issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and when I saw it, I was like, well, duh, of course. Like, I mean, I will say this: the notion of what happened didn't become obvious to me until they actually said, "Oh, Spider-Man left, and he had to get back to her." When I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, I know how this is going to play out. Then the next issue came out, and they were like, "Yep, it's exactly that." And I was like, well, duh. Duh. Let's see here. Let's get into our questions from the chat. We'll start with Chi-Town Dan, the Night Skin King, with the $5 super chat. Says, speaking of the Flash, where's all the fuckboy hate for the quotey fingers, not Caitlyn, being a god that they had for Iris just existing? I
don't know what any of that means.
Something seems white. Basically, it's the whole thing, like, I think what they're talking, I haven't watched Flash in a while, but I do remember when I was watching Flash actively, there were a lot of people who hated Iris West and they loved Killer Frost. And
I think it's just those
and it was like the
nerds.
Snowberry thing. Everybody wanted Snowberry to be a thing. Caitlin Snow and Barry Allen. That's what they used to call it, Snowberry. I don't know why either. They couldn't call it like Caitlin Berry or Barry. I guess Snowberry rolled off the tongue better. I don't know.
Y'all better realize Sky High came out how many years ago? That is not the same Danielle Panabaker. Y'all better cut that out.
Well, and to be fair, there does seem to be some issue going on, because I do remember we talked about this like a long time ago, but there was some issue where it seemed like Danielle Panabaker was like liking tweets and Instagram posts shitting on Iris West and Candace Patton specifically. I don't know where any of that went or what was going on behind the scenes, or if there was just much ado about nothing. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't have any skin in the game on The Flash anymore. I stopped watching it for that very reason. Let's see here. Let's get into our other, we got some other questions here. We got one from Bill, says, do you think that U.S. Agent might be the mystery suspect in the X-Men story from the Free Comic Book Day issue? Jerry did write Devil's Reign, X-Men, and U.S. Agent has left the Thunderbolts. That is a possibility, but the only reason why I don't think that's the case is because the person who Cyclops fought in the Free Comic Book Day issue, I actually have a video that I was working on for it, but I just haven't put it out yet.
The person Cyclops fought. Person whooped Cyclops' ass.
I mean, the dude kept referring to himself as just a man. And I don't think someone who's just a man would be like considered, because U.S. Agent's a whole super soldier. People forget about that. Like he's
not a mutant hater.
No,
like
he's not a mutant hater. No, not really.
Just a dick.
Yeah, I mean, and shit, he recently just got his ass whooped by Daredevil. So I don't know how I don't know how quick he gonna be to try to run up on Cyclops. But let's see here. But I mean, maybe, I'm not gonna lie, when I'm not sure who it is, honestly. And truth be told, I think it's a brand new character. I don't think it's anyone we've ever met before. That's just me. We got one here from Dietrich Morton, says, a question: do you think Fall of X could be actually the fall of Xavier because of what recently happened in X-Men Red? Maybe. If it's me personally, I think the fall of X is going to be the fall of an idea. Or rather, I don't think that it means Krakoa's absolutely just going to be completely destroyed, burned to the ground. I just think it's going to be the fall of an ideal, and what will rise out of it. Because just like, and kind of like we talked about earlier about Empire implications. This is kind of the same thing. This is basically the Empire Strikes Back of the X-Men line so far, where the mutants are going to get shit on for a moment. And then after, because I always feel like just because something falls, something can technically rise. So I feel like while, everyone's focusing on the fall of X, I would tell people to chill out, thinking that it's just all going to be over automatically. And you may just very likely get a rise of X or return of X afterward. But that's just me. And yes, here she is correct. The Sith were also originally just a race of aliens. I don't remember the reasoning behind why the Emperor chose the Sith, or why anyone else chose the Sith, or whatever as the name that I forget who it was that actually coined the term Sith back in the day. It might have been Darth Bane. I don't even know if any of that's still canon or not. That's a whole other story. But yeah, basically, that's what you got. Let's see here. We got a super chat here from Otaba Ballin, says, with the $4.99, says, I would be whatever Ahsoka is, or I'd honestly be like Qui-Gon, play by my own rules and where I think the Force is leading me. That, and honestly, while we never really got to spend a lot of time with Qui-Gon Jinn in the Phantom Menace, at least as far as like, him being killed off in literally the movie he first appeared in. I do kind of feel like, yeah, Qui-Gon was kind of a maverick, and he would kind of lend a little bit more I don't think he would necessarily be as close to being a gray Jedi as Ahsoka is, but he'd be pretty damn close. Like he wouldn't be as close as Ahsoka, but he'd be not too far behind her. And I think that's why a lot of people are kind of freaking out about the new show for Ahsoka, with the part where she says, "I'm not a Jedi." Like she doesn't refer to herself as a Jedi. She's something in the middle. I wonder if they'll ever come up with an actual name for it. I hope they do. Just me, but yeah, do your thing. But I do agree with that. I agree with those statements. We got one here from Lotto Soldier says, question for the this is for the chat. This is not for us. Let's see here. YTube Noob says, is Blerd looking forward to seeing Ultraman team up with Captain Marvel? Fun fact, Brandon Easton is the brother writing Kamen Rider 01 comic. I would actually be very interested in that, actually. I'm very interested in that, because I will say this. While Kamen Rider 01 is nowhere near my favorite Kamen Rider, I do love his theme song. It's actually, it's funny how music and Kamen Rider are so crazy and wild. While Kamen Rider 01 is not my favorite season of the series, it is my ring. The theme song of Kamen Rider 01 is actually my ringtone, because I love the song. It's called Realize. Real X Eyes, but it's said realize as though realize something. Pretty interesting. How many was that? That was three regular questions. I'm not counting super chats.
I didn't know those super chats. Okay.
Yeah. One of those was a super chat.
I actually kind of missed the virtual camera, so I can see.
I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna test it out later to see if we can get it back. Yeah. Hiryunoshi says, how do you feel about what they're doing with Miles Morales, giving him the electrokinesis powers? I'm fine with it. The fact that he can use them in different ways isn't a shocking thing to me. I think it's actually pretty cool that he can make constructs. And technically, he's been doing it for a while. Because he was making like nets and even using it to swing. So it's not an unusual thing to me. But the fact he made a sword, I thought that was pretty crazy.
That's your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that he's gonna make people mad? Do you think with that new power and everything that's been happening with him, you think he should move away from trying to be Spider-Man and be something else?
I think he can stay Spider-Man. I know for a while there, they were talking about giving him his own name, and then it just never happened because, I mean, he's become Spider-Man for a generation. So, I mean, I think he just stay Spider-Man. I think he can be Spider-Man. He can be Spider-Man, and Peter Parker can be Spider-Man at the same time. I mean, if we're being brutally honest, and I've said this on multiple occasions, I think that using the kind of like using the adjectives for a lot of the the descriptors for a lot of the characters should be just a thing that gets normalized. I think if you're gonna have multiple Spider-Man books, do it this way. Let any stories about Peter can be the Amazing Spider-Man. Any stories about Miles could be the Ultimate Spider-Man. And any stories about, if they ever decide to put Ben Reilly back to being Spider-Man again and not Chasm, he could be the Spectacular Spider-Man. If you want to do stories about Doc Ock as Spider-Man, he could be the Superior Spider-Man, and just let those be their monikers. That's how. That's what I would do. If it was me, if it was my money, that's what I would do. But yeah, that's what I would do. Let's do, we got super chat here from Elite X1 saying $5, says, just saying, if you ever was a wrestling fan, this week's AEW Dynamite shows Moxley versus a major cage match was fire, worthy of a pay-per-view, but free. WWE, downvote. No, I saw it. It was Carter, did you see the Omega Moxley match?
I did not.
It was very good. Crazy finish too. And I think that's honestly where AEW, and honestly a lot of places they shine where WWE doesn't, but that's one area where I feel they do shine the most, is that they put matches that are pay-per-view worthy on free TV, which is just fantastic. And I can when they here's the thing I find funny. You know, there's like certain phrases you can hear. Like you read something it's like it's text, but you can hear it. Like just based on like just something in your mind just goes, I know exactly what this is. Tubes of One with the 20 months says return of the X. You know that we'll be back. I'm not gonna lie, when I initially read that, I immediately started thinking of Return of the Mac. Like I heard like the like that long. And I just started hearing the song Return of the X once again. Oh my God. I don't know why, it just was what it was. But no, I'd be totally down for that. Oh, he said it was for me too. Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what. I will be brutally honest. I have no answer to that question. Oh, I have no answer. Largely because I don't know. I've never thought about it before. I've never thought about at least not recently. I mean, I'll say Nimrod. That's a quick, easy answer. Let's see here. And then last question. This is JD says, I always thought it was a missed opportunity to integrate Rogue more into Destiny of X. I heard Hickman had Inferno plans and scrapped them. Do you think she'll have a big Fall of X role? I mean, right now, not so much, but I do feel like there was something that came up during the Free Comic Book Day issue between Destiny and Mystique. They kind of implied something was up with Rogue. Like she was busy doing something elsewhere, and it didn't seem to have anything to do with the Rogue and Gambit series.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking that, like, the only thing that like they'll give her flowers with the Unity Squad and Uncanny Avengers, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I feel like that's going to be her spot, is co-leading the Unity Squad with Captain America. That's where, and honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I like Rogue in that position. Working on a team, kind of being like in charge. Yeah, I'm down for it. Carter, that is our last question. We got anything else you want to bring up before we dip out?
No, I'm gonna go and try to get a haircut, and I'm hoping that's all I do, because the barbershop is right next to Target, so I might walk in there and grab Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh Lord, actually, I got
but
it.
I really shouldn't.
Yeah, I got it right behind me.
I'm trying to stop. You know what? I've been trying to give some. I keep saying I'm gonna stream it, but I don't know, dude. Darkest Dungeon 2.
Do it. Just do it, man.
It's just compared to the first one, it's just it ain't.
I mean, I played the first one a little bit. That game was tough. I heard Darkest Dungeon 2 is just all kinds out of pocket. So
to the obnoxious.
Yeah.
Standpoint. So
you know what? You know what, Carter? I'm gonna give you the best advice I can ever give you. I don't know. Do they still support Darkest Dungeon 2, like from an update standpoint?
Hell yeah! So technically, it just came out.
Oh, because
everything has been early access. So
okay, gotcha.
It just came out a week. No, this week or a week prior. I think it was this week. This week.
Okay, gotcha. So here's what I'm gonna say to that. There's a game that I love called The Forest. And a sequel to that game is out now. It's also in early access.
So Sons in the Forest is the sequel.
It is a sequel. But while I initially was really excited for that game, I'm going to let this one cook. Because I do not enjoy my time with it. And it's not because it's not that the game is bad. It's that the game is way too hard now. Like the first game was a challenge, but this one, it seems like the game is just actively going out of its way to shit on you. And like the devs, every time they do an update, they're always trying to make the cannibals harder to kill, which is funny to me because I feel like the cannibals are already kind of difficult to kill. Or I won't say difficult to kill. it's not that they're difficult to kill. It's that they have a much easier time killing you than you being able to kill them. And while there are definitely systems in place that make it easier for you to, fight them back.
Yeah.
The problem is that I feel like a cannibal shouldn't be able to hit me one time and take almost every piece of health that I have. You know what I mean? I feel like a cannibal shouldn't be able to just slap me upside my head one time and I'm out. Like it just doesn't seem very fair. And until they fix the balancing issues, and to some people that might think maybe I'm being a little too harsh, there's a guy named Farkit on YouTube. This is all he does is play the Forest. And since Sons of the Forest came out, that is all he plays now. And even he has been like, this game's out of pocket with balancing. And you can tell he's not having fun playing it. And I thought maybe it was just me. And when I saw this dude who literally makes a living playing this game is not having fun, that told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with Darkest Dungeon 2, because I've been playing it since early access because of how much I like the first one.
I would say
other than that, no, I don't got nothing going on.
Okay. Well, I will just say this, y'all. This is more just a public service announcement. I have been doing more Star Wars content as of late. Some of you may or may not have noticed. And I will be doing more Star Wars content. So please, if you have time, go check out those videos. Give them a like, share them around, because the YouTube algorithm is being very unfair to your boy. Right now, as it stands, anytime I post a Star Wars video, because it's not X-Men related, it's not, maybe even some of the other comics I usually touch on. Yeah, it treats that as though I'm just doing something completely different than anything I've ever done before, even though I'm still technically talking about comics. So those videos aren't really they're not really circulating or getting as much traction as they probably would anything else. Like case in point, I put out a video for Star Wars the other day, and it took it like 2 days to even get to 1,000 views. But I posted the Storm and Beast videos instantaneously. The X-Men Red video is already like over 10K. The Beast video I posted yesterday is already over like 4 or 5K, I think, by this point. So if that tells you anything, YouTube is not. I don't think it's so much the quality of the videos. I think it's YouTube's just like, yeah, we don't know what to do with this. But it's one of those deals. It's a long haul deal, and I'm in it for the long haul. But yeah, if you're curious about those things, go check them out. Give them a like, give them a share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit subscribe, because it really helps the channel out. Click those notifications too, that way you don't miss any videos. And also, I don't really have anything else to say on that. I do want to say thank you everyone for coming by. I want to thank Morgan Iverson and Danny Quick for coming onto the show, talking to us about Harlem and the Black Rose double feature. Don't forget that the link to said Kickstarter is still pinned to the top of the screen. It'll be in the description, pinned comment after this VOD goes up. And and if you're listening to this on the podcast side, we'll also have it in the show notes. That's all I really have to say. I want to thank everyone for coming and hanging out with us, whether you were chatting, super chatting, lurking, whatever. Thank you to your Earth's Mightiest patrons and Blerd Club and everyone else. For Carter Presents, I am the Blerd Without Fear. And David Zaslav, you can go to hell.